Welcome to We Talking About Sports. We are in week 7 in the NFL. And Ben, I got to say, it's a great time to be a sports fan. We're in October baseball already. We're getting the best of October baseball. One team has already punched their ticket into the World Series. And then we got Seattle and Blue Jays giving us one hell of a series. Bombs everywhere in that game, in that series. It's been fun to watch. Are you excited about where we're at? Because guess what? Also, the Rockets are going to be coming back for you. NBA, everything is just clicking right now in October for us as sports fans.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Justin. I've been pretty checked out on the baseball. Astros didn't make the playoffs. I have no interest. I'm not going to hitch a wagon to any of these other teams. But you're right. It's NFL season. It's college football season. Hockey started. The Stars just got going. You got soccer. Tottenham lost this morning, and you got basketball starting, this week.
Yeah.
Rockets opening night, 28 televised games. We're back.
This morning I saw Kevin Durant chirping at somebody.
Kevin Durant signed his extension this morning. Like it's a great time in sports right now. You got the Texans against the Seahawks tomorrow night. I mean, I couldn't. It's awesome. It's Sunday. We don't work. We're gonna watch a full day of football. It sucks, that Ron and Roland couldn't be here with us this morning, but man, we're gonna enjoy today.
All right. Well, let's see what we got today. We're gonna talk a little bit about Thursday night football. We're going to talk about the parity in the NFL. Right now, no one's undefeated. Normally, in the NFL season right now, you have one or two teams still kind of vying undefeated. Everybody got at least one loss. Some of your better teams got 2 losses. We're going to talk about little fantasy questions if they come in, and we're going to offer some betting predictions that we have. But let's get into the first slide, Ben. We had the Unk Bowl, the Icy Hot Bowl, the Unction, whatever you wanted to call it. Thursday night, Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers went at it one more time. Cincinnati ends up winning the game 33-31. Pittsburgh was favored by 5.5 points. The over-under on that game was 44.5. Damn near both teams got pretty close to reaching the over-under by themselves. This was a pretty good Thursday night game. Ben, I know you were probably hella busy. You had that, cook-off competition you were preparing for. Did you catch any of this game? Did you catch the Unction?
I caught the first half of this game. I didn't catch the crazy-ass second half. It looked like it was going to, stay under control. It seems like the fireworks came out second half. The under was a real popular pick, 44.5. You thought, this O-line, they're not going to be able to protect Joe Flacco, who's a statue, against T.J. Watt and, that Steelers front seven. And, man, they lit it up. They lit it up. This was very surprising, I will say. But this is kind of that Joe Flacco, that 1-2 games he has a year. I don't think that this is the Joe Flacco of 2 or 3 years ago when he's leading the Browns into the playoffs. I mean, I know we don't think the Browns are the smartest team, but even they cut ties with Flacco, sending him to a divisional opponent. Probably not the smartest move, but it does give. I think we might talk about it, but it does give the offensive players, a shot. T. Higgins is back to being relevant, back-to-back touchdowns for him. Chase is back to kind of doing his thing. So this is, I will say this might be the best set of weapons Joe Flacco's ever played with in his fucking extended career. Chase Higgins, Chase Brown. That Ilias Saloeva guy, whatever the hell his name is, but he's got weapons. He's got options. I don't know, any of the Ravens teams back in the days having, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase level players.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing. So we know he's not going to be good for the rest of the season. He doesn't have to be. You just need him to float you to Joe Burrow getting back. And I'm going to go over the schedule that they have next here. It's the Jets. That's going to be a game that they're going to be, it's a possible win for them. They're going to still be okay. Then you're going to see the Bears. The Bears have stepped up their competition. They just won again last Monday night. And then you have the Steelers one more time, probably before you get before you get Burrow back against the Patriots. So 2 of those games are probably winnable out of the 3. If you can pull 2 out of 3, they got more than they could have asked for with Flacco at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it might be a little longer for Burrow, but I agree with you. I think that they're going to be favorites against the Jets. That game against the Bears, it'll be a field goal spread if, at worst with them underdogs. coming off back-to-back wins as we expect them to beat the Jets their next game, but it's looking better. When you've got Lamar, they got the bye this week, but Lamar's coming back next week. The Ravens are still, only one win. So the Bengals don't have much ground on them, and the Browns as well. The Browns are favored today, expected to possibly beat the Dolphins. We'll see, but I don't know. I don't know if the Bengals still have any shot at the division, based on their situation.
Yeah. Well,
not even the division, but like a wild card. I mean, they're only a 2-win team.
The thing is, the only team ahead of the Bengals is the Steelers, right? And they're only 1 win ahead, and they're going to have that head-to-head with them. So if they win that head-to-head matchup, they're in first place in that division. And you're looking at the Ravens and the Browns, who are just lost. So there is a shot. I mean, they're probably not the best odds, but
do you think that the Steelers are capable of selling, such a big lead like this and the position that they're in? Do you think that a Mike Tomlin team? I mean, like, what do you think? I mean, do you believe in Aaron Rodgers and that offense?
I do a little bit, but here's what I look at the next 3 games. I'm looking at the Packers. That's a game they could easily lose. I'm looking at the Colts. The Colts are playing like a wagon right now. And then I'm looking at the Chargers. Those are 3 games that they're probably not favorites in any of those 3 games. 2 of them are on the road. Chargers are at home. So, I mean, it's not looking like the Steelers are a lock for first place in this division. That defense does not look good, Ben. I mean,
they could be back at 500 early November, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a 2-way race between right now the Bengals and the Steelers, and I would probably give the slight edge to the Steelers just because they have the 1 game already ahead of the Bengals. But I don't think it's like cemented that the Steelers will be representing the NFC North or AFC North. My bad. I don't think by any means. I think the Bengals will be only one team. I think out of the AFC North comes into the playoffs. I don't think both of them are making it. So you're looking at whoever wins the division. I don't think the wild card situation will be in play for either team, just based on what's around them in the AFC North. But yeah. So another thing I want to talk about is Ja'Marr Chase. A lot of fantasy owners kind of wanted to punt on Ja'Marr Chase after owning him this season. Reason being, once Burrow went out, they wanted to move off of him. But Ja'Marr Chase, Thursday night, by all means, looking like wide receiver 1, were the people who punted on Ja'Marr Chase, traded him after drafting him probably number 1, number 2. Do you think they're going to have any kind of regret after trading him now with the game that we saw Thursday, or was that just a one-off and Ja'Marr Chase is not going to have that wide receiver 1 spot in the NFL, Ben?
I don't know if he'll necessarily have the number 1 spot, but what I will say is that Joe Burrow news that came out with them eyeing, a November return.
Yeah.
I think that it's not as bad a spot. I mean, clearly, the Flacco is an upgrade from Browning because Flacco gives the guys a chance. Yeah. He had 5 days with these guys, and they had some timing down, bro. They were hitting those out routes. The throws were right on the money. And then it was let Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins do what they do after, once the ball's in the air. So, I mean, I don't know about wide receiver 1. He'll definitely finish top 5, which I looked out of the picture, last week, 2 weeks ago. But yeah, with Joe Burrow coming back, I think if you held on to him, good on you. A lot of patience and discipline.
Yeah.
If you traded him and you were able to get a really good player, I know like someone, for example, Gene, he was able to flip him for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and one more.
So I'm not mad at that. You can't be mad at having RB1. So, yeah, I do expect him top 5. I don't know about the top spot.
All right, we got Alex with a question. He says, what do you pals think? Should I keep Dowdle, Hubbard in the lineup? Have Bill as well? Can flex Addison or JMO? I think Dowdle is like an automatic start right now. Ben, I know you said you wanted to see the splits on him, right?
Yeah, I think Bill's an auto start right now. So for sure you start him. And like, I don't think you think about starting Hubbard.
No,
he's just coming back. They might try and ease him in. Rico does have the hot hand. Me personally, I want to see what it looks like, before I start either one of them. to be honest with you, if I had that, what is it? That luxury, right? If you need to start somebody out of all those guys you mentioned, I think Bill's an auto start, and then I'm deciding between JMO and Dowdle. JMO got into the end zone last week, looked like a good game.
They got
this week, he should have had a bigger second half, but he did enough that first half to get himself into double digits. They've got a matchup against the Bucks on Monday night, prime time in the Dome. You got a pretty high total. You know that usually you don't get it done against the Bucks running the football with Vita Vea, at nose in that defense. So I'm expecting a big game for Jared Goff. I could see JMO getting in the end zone again. But, yeah, it's between Dowdle and JMO. And you got to think, though, as good as Dowdle's been running, that he's just going to beat out
the Jets defense.
The Jets defense and Hubbard on Hubbard's first game back. I'm not saying that I don't know if he's a better running back than Hubbard. I'm not ready to say that at all. But with him just coming back from injury and it being a leg injury, I would say that they're going to rely on Dowdle definitely over Hubbard today.
I'm just trying to think back of when did Hubbard ever have 200-yard games. I don't think I remember that. But Hubbard's a good back too.
I don't think rushing, but I think rushing and receiving, like combined yards, he's had over 200 last year. He was really good last year.
Yeah, he might combine, and that's a different threat. I'm not sure Rico's the same threat as Hubbard as far as pass catching.
And another thing that I could see is them using Rico, and then once they get inside the goal line, them throwing Hubbard in there to like pound it into the end zone. He has been a very successful running back inside the 5-yard line in the red zone, so I could see them using him like that as well.
All right, well, let's move on here, Ben. Let's talk about the parity in the league. The AFC East with the Bills losing to the Falcons Monday night. Did you expect that at all?
Didn't expect it, not in Buffalo. I expected, New England to make the playoffs and possibly split with the Bills. I just didn't expect it to be in Buffalo.
Well, that puts the Bills in second place in the AFC East division. There's a lot of parity this year. We thought the Bills were kind of going to be a lock to show up for the AFC Championship. And New England, with a win over the Bills, is now in first place in that division. You look over toward the AFC North, it's a 2-horse race between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. And even in the AFC South, the Houston have a must-win game. Who's it? Seattle this week, Ben. Yeah. They win. Jacksonville's about to lose. You're only a game behind Jacksonville. I think there's a possibility for a wild card spot coming out of the AFC South, given that the AFC North is probably going to only have one representative. I don't think they're going to get a winner and a wild card spot. So I think the South is probably going to get a winner and a wild card spot. And the AFC West with 3 teams wide open. The Chiefs play the Raiders today. They're probably going to win there. And depending on what Chargers and Broncos do, I mean, this is parity. This is nice. You don't really know who's going to win on the AFC side at this point.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think that the Patriots are for real. Drake May has clearly taken that step up. And if the Bills don't get Josh Allen some weapons, it's going to look how it looked on, last Sunday night when they played the Patriots. Because, dude, Keon Coleman, I mean, he really hasn't been consistent for them. Dalton Kincaid was out that game. We know that that's been like Josh Allen's biggest target. Khalil Shakir is just that little possession receiver. He's nothing that's going to scare a defense or, blow the top off a defense. So they really need to go out there and make a move at wide receiver, or else I don't know if they're going to be in the AFC Championship like everybody, had them pretty much penciled in for coming into the season.
Yeah. We can move over to the NFC and just kind of look at the list here. NFC East still kind of wide open depending on what happens with Dallas and Washington today. Dallas definitely needs this win to keep themselves in the relevancy in the NFC East. I feel like with a loss here, we could probably start looking towards 3rd or 4th in the NFC East, the way that the Giants are kind of surging with their little white boy motion. They got that dual running back and quarterback situation. The NFC North, everybody with 3 wins, Detroit with 4, but they're not leading just because the Packers have 1 less loss. They do have that tie with Dallas.
And Packers have the head-to-head on them as well, week 1.
The NFC South, everyone's kind of decent here except the Saints. The Saints are just terrible, but the Bucs are playing like maybe they're the best team in the league. The Falcons just got a win over the Bills. They got a big game in San Francisco tonight for Sunday night. If they win, They're putting themselves in a really good position. And the NFC West, that's a tight division because those three teams at the top, the Niners, if they get healthier, which it doesn't seem like that's the plan this year, everyone's going out. But, they're winning with Mac Jones. They don't need Purdy necessarily. The Seahawks, they got wide receiver one with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And McVay just doesn't lose. Doesn't matter if he's playing in London. He doesn't lose. So those top three teams in NFC West, you're going to think one's going to win the division, and you're going to get a wild card spot probably from that division as well, Ben. I mean, what do you think here? Who's your favorite in the NFC right now?
Yeah, and the NFC is going to be tough, man. Even those wild card spots, you're going to have some really good wild card teams. I mean, somebody either, possibly the Falcons or the Bucks, whoever doesn't win that division, it's going to be a wild card team, and then you're going to get, the Rams or the Niners or the Seahawks, even the Commanders and the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of parity in the NFC. I do think it's wide open.
Yeah.
I know preseason my pick was the Packers. They looked really good to start the season. They're coming back down to earth. The defense, we thought it was going to be a killer defense, and it just hasn't looked that way.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that tie is going to help them out. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That tie might win them the division. If the second game Detroit comes out and beats them and they're 1-1, that tie might win them the division, with record-wise at the end of the year. So, yeah, I want to see how it shakes down between the Falcons and the Bucks. The Bucks are injured now. They're dogs tomorrow against the Lions. So, if they lose and the Falcons win tonight, they're looking at, the same records. And I don't think that they've played. Have they matched up against each other? I don't think that they have, but I could be mistaken.
Oh, Bucks and who?
The Bucks and the Falcons. They have two divisional matchups.
They played each other week one, where the Bucks won 23-20.
Okay, damn, week one was that? That's that long ago that I already forgot. Okay,
and that's Michael Penix's, not his first game. That's
I'm not sold on Michael Penix, bro.
Neither, but he seems like he's getting a little bit more comfortable as the season has progressed. So
it looks so ugly, man. It looks so ugly.
But I mean, they got through the Bills, bro. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, that was Bijan that got through the Bills.
He was a monster that night, bro. Receiving, running, it was just different.
Bijan's a beast.
It makes me worried about the Bills' defense. I really think there's some problems there. I don't know if Josh Allen can overcome the weakness that the Bills' defense is. But here's your Week 7 matchups and headlines. This is your whole schedule for today. This is what you're going to get if you're watching. Excluded are the Monday night games. There is 2 Monday night games this week. This is the last week with 2 Monday night games. And we'll just talk about one of them is Houston and Seattle. Pretty big game for you all. Ben, here, Houston and Seattle. What do you think here? I mean, you got to contain Jackson here.
Yeah, we definitely got to contain Jackson. I'm not too worried about. I'm not saying like too worried about that side of the ball, but the biggest question to me is the offense, and I still am not a full believer in the fact that they're back, just because they did that to the Titans and the Ravens, who have some of the bottom 5 units in the league and just teams overall. So I think that this is kind of the eye test on, okay, this is a good team. This is a team with a winning record, not a 1-4 team, like the Titans and the Ravens.
And they have a decent D-line, so you are worried about your O-line. They got Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, and DeMarcus Lawrence over there. That's not a bad D-line that you're going up against.
No, the D-line is good. The front 7 is they do decent against the run, but we saw what Baker and the Bucks did to them, and it's like
in the past.
Just Ibuka, it was no Godwin, it was no Mike Evans, and they just, people were wide open, bro. They're still a little injured. I don't know if Wooten is going to be playing this week. It does help that it's a Monday night game and it's a little extra time for him to get right, but that defense is there to be had through the air. And CJ Stroud 6 touchdowns over the last 2 games. Yeah. If he does it against the Seattle defense on the road, I think that I'll be, I'll have nothing left to say. I'll have no questions to ask if they can look good against the Seattle defense.
And if y'all don't, what do you make? That's it? Just chalk the season at this point?
I don't know.
Build the O-line for next season?
I don't know if we're there yet. It's kind of early, especially because we already had our bye, so we have one less game than everybody.
Yeah.
But we're very close. We are close. But you still got to try and play as competitive as you can, though, because you can't just tank and then you got to. I mean, some of these guys got to work shit out if you plan on being good next year. I don't think that they're in any position to kind of tank. And when you look at the division, I mean, you look at the teams that the Falcons have beat, and I mean, they're beating quarterbacks that just probably are not ready to be NFL quarterbacks or shouldn't be NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, aside from that one penalty that they got against the Browns and against the Broncos and got to re-kick that field goal and got the win. But other than that, you look at the teams that they're beating, you know, Shane Rattler, they're beating the rookie, the number 1 pick, Cam Ward. They're beating Geno Smith. Like, they're not beating the best competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we still have some stuff to find out about our division.
How hot does D'Amico Ryan's seat get?
Oh, not hot at all.
But if the year ends up being chalked, is it warm at all?
No.
You know, his side of the ball is working. He's a defensive coach. The defense is there for Houston.
Yeah.
One of the better ones. Is it first in the NFL still?
Still first in the NFL as far as points allowed by a long shot.
He just needs to get the offense going. He has the quarterback, I believe, to do so, but that O-line definitely needs help.
The O-line, I mean, even the O-line, Justin, if you look at the stats, they're kind of gotten to the middle of the pack. They're not bottom 5 like they used to be. And the thing is, I mean, you got to remember they fired Bobby Slowick. They got a new offensive coordinator. I mean, it was the first couple of games of the season. They weren't converting in the red zone. It didn't look the greatest. They had a couple of get-right games, you know, and a bye. Now you're flying into Seattle for Monday night on primetime. I mean,
2 weeks to prepare for this.
Time to show up. There's a big spot.
Time to put up here. The other NFC East game, Washington versus Dallas, NFC East matchup, we talked about a little bit earlier. I won't go into it too much. But this is kind of a big crux for Dallas' season. They need to win to stay in the relevancy in that division, because if not, they drop down. And like I said, the Giants are surging. They may overtake them. We might see ourselves last place in the division, a place nobody wants to be if you're a Cowboys fan. And then we'll take it to Tampa versus Detroit. NFC leader, kind of, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying from a power rankings perspective, whoever wins this game, from a power rankings perspective, I'll put as number 1 in the NFC. Is that fair to say, Ben?
I think it's fair to say. I think you still gotta consider the Packers in there, especially because they have that head-to-head win against the Lions, although they might not be looking the best at the current moment.
Yeah.
But that's fair. I think, you know, if Baker comes out and wins this game, now I am seeing that Mike Evans is likely to play and that Ibuka is a true game time decision. So we thought that they were going to be out there just with Tej Johnson and Shepard. And it looks like he might have, you know, some of his guys. Mike Evans been out over 4 weeks already.
Yeah.
So good to have them back. I will say on the Dallas and Washington, man, this is a very winnable game for Dallas with no Deebo Samuels, no Terry McLaurin.
Yeah,
you know, if you let this guy McCaffrey and Zach Ertz beat you, then that defense really is ass. You know what I mean? If those guys come out and become game changers. But this is a very winnable game. I mean, so was the Carolina Panthers, right? I don't think anybody had the Carolina Panthers beating the Cowboys on their bingo card, but
that was my best bet last week, even with the juice, dog. I mean, it was
was a revenge Rico Dowdle game, and he made damn sure that everybody knew it was a revenge Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's move on to the bets here real quick. Let's cover these bets that we have, and then we'll call it from there. You got Pats -7, Eagles -2, and you put in a teaser of Patriots and Packers -1. That's a 2-team 6-point teaser there, right, Ben?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. The Pats revenge game for Mike Vrabel. You know, the Titans just fired Vrabel. The one thing I will say I don't like is that the Titans just fired their coach. You usually want to back a team the week after they fire their coach because they come out motivated for the new guy and kind of show that, yeah, maybe it was the coach. It just always happens that way. I don't have the numbers. I don't have the percentages, but if you look it up,
it's good.
It doesn't go my way. But Mike Vrabel also was fired, and he was way better. You know, look, they already fired the damn guy that they replaced him with. And here come the Patriots, you know, at the top of their division with a program that looks like they figured everything out except the fucking running back room. They can't play Travion Henderson, but we'll leave that for another day. Pats -7, Drake May's rolling. I think Drake May should be considered for MVP the way he's been playing. I think if they win a couple more games, I think that his name, you will start seeing his name up there. When you start seeing guys like Josh Allen, losing games and playing as bad as they did. So I think Drake May's a good dark horse for MVP. I don't know what the odds are on that. I think that they're pretty high, but
I'll pull them up for you if you want while you keep talking.
Yeah, I like what I've seen. Then the Eagles -2. I mean, right now everything looks horrible for the Eagles. So I think that this is the time that I want to go and back them. I mean, the Eagles aren't just going to keep losing games. Yes, they can, right, realistically, but I don't envision that. So I like them here -2, short spread. All they got to do is win by a field goal. So I like that. And then we're going to go with the 2-team teaser, the Pats again. Going to take them to -1 so that they just have to pretty much win. And then the Packers -1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Another week of Jacoby Brissett, no Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not 100% sure if he is back this week and playing. Shout out McBride. I hope McBride still eats, but the Packers are going to win this game on the road.
Yeah, I feel really good about your Patriots bet. Vrabel, he, going into the season, he probably circled that game. He's been waiting for that game. He's got a point to prove, and
he's a player's coach, man. So you got to think the guys are really going to want it for him as well. Like I don't want to get into players' emotions and shit, but that's kind of common sense,
Yeah. So I really love the -7, and then the fact that you took him in a teaser, I definitely probably going to join you on that one real quick. Here are the betting odds for MVP. Patrick Mahomes currently leading at +175. You got Baker following suit at +250. Josh Allen +330. Big jump off after that. You got Stafford at +1400. So Vegas is kind of telling us this is a three-way race between Mahomes, Mayfield, and Allen. Do you think Mahomes being at the top and not Mayfield with only one loss is fair, Ben?
I think Baker should be the favorite,
right?
Based off what we've seen. Yeah, I think he's got the better numbers. He's got the better record. And like I said, he's been playing with the beat-up team. I know Mahomes hasn't had Rashee Rice, and he's back this week. So expect Mahomes' numbers to look better, through the air. But I think right now Baker should be the rightful favorite just based on what we've seen on the field.
Yeah, I agree too. I'm kind of surprised that Mahomes is at number 1 for the MVP odds, considering he's got 3 losses on the season. Two of them, one of them to a division opponent, the Chargers. The other one, Jaguars, they were in that game for the most part. Field goal wins it in the end, and they lose by a field goal to the Eagles. I just think Baker, with what he's done, given that he's had to throw to backups, guys who were not on the depth chart to start the season. I mean, that tells me more about the quality of play that Baker Mayfield has given us. I'm not sure why, I guess they're projecting the Mahomes is probably going to go on a run here and just maybe finish off the season with 1 or 2 more losses. Maybe that's what they're seeing. I don't know. We'll see, but I want to keep track of that throughout the season at least. We'll see it again next week and see where they stand, Ben.
Yeah, I think do I see Drake May's name? It's a little small.
Drake May's +1600. I know it's probably a little small for you considering we got the whole thing here. +1600 Drake May. Jared Goff also sharing that +1600. A big jump off again. Herbert +2000.
And Herbert was a guy that a couple weeks ago he was towards the top. So this is a weekly thing. You probably can get better numbers on guys depending on what happened the week before. They tend to really overreact, I think, in MVP. Like you, I am surprised to see Mahomes at number 1, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 losses, he has been getting a lot more rushing touchdowns in the red zone. He's been running more and getting in that way. But, I mean, Baker Mayfield has done everything to be the favorite.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mind Mahomes being in the top 5 for the MVP already as far as voting goes or, Vegas odds. But to see him at 1 is just it's a little much, I think. Especially that he has to see the Broncos defense at least 2 more times here.
True.
Shout out Joey Ramon. Broncos winning the ship. And they got
Joey. Joey, we're going to be at that Broncos and Texans game up in Houston in a couple of weeks. I know you'll be there because I spoke to Derek. So we gotta link up to tailgate a little bit before the game, bro.
There you go. All right, Ben, I think that's it for us. Enjoy NFL Sunday Week 7. We'll be back. There's a chance we'll be back during the week, maybe this week or next. Get rolling into the mix. Sundays, you can't really make Sundays right now, so we're going to get them involved. We got to talk the NBA now that it's back, and college football as well once he comes back with us.
For sure, we got to get on some NBA talk, man. For sure.
It's going to be a real interesting season.
I know, especially, Spurs fans, they're hyped up. God knows why. They've been hyped 2 years in a row.
I did see some of the fruit of Wemby working with Olajuwon, and it's showing off. I mean, he's got some post moves that he didn't have before.
With the reaction that he had when that draft night lottery, and the reaction that he had when Houston got the 3rd pick, I don't know why the hell Hakeem would sign up to help this ungrateful bastard, bro. You know what I mean? Man. But it's good that they didn't send his ass to Tim Duncan or David Robinson, right?
They knew who
they sent him up I-10 over to work with Hakeem, not with Tim Duncan, not with David Robinson. No.
And to be honest, with his skill set, Hakeem was the right choice. Going to Tim Duncan or David Robinson, those are different body types. Hakeem's more finesse. Wemby's game's more finesse. He's not a bruiser down there. So, but there's a highlight that came out where he does look like he's a little bit like he has a little shack in him.
Yeah, wait till Steven Adams is standing on the block.
Hey, 7'5". He's growing another 2 inches. Like it's getting crazy out there in San Antonio. We'll see what happens.
Too much hype, bro.
28 national games for y'all, right? Y'all went from 3 national games to 28. The KD bump is worth 25. I'm happy for you. You don't really have to rely on the NBA League Pass now to see the majority of Rockets. So good for you, man.
Yeah, I don't know how good it's going to look opening night, against the defending champs. KD's going to be watching them put their banner up. I do think, with Fred being out, it's going to take a while to figure out the ball handling and kind of initiating the offense. So I could see a lot of turnovers early on, it being a little bit sloppy for us on offense. Just trying to get into sets until somebody really steps in, whether it's A-Man, Reed Shepherd, or KD. But I'm super excited to watch them opening night, but I don't have the highest hopes for that particular game, I will say.
Yeah, I will say with the history that KD has with OKC, that's going to be a fun game to watch.
It'll be a banger for sure.
All right, well, that's it for us. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Peace.